Hi, my name is Rabbi Aaron Ross, and I'm going to be your teacher, your facilitator, for this module in project-based learning in the Judaic Studies classroom. First, a little bit about myself. I am currently the assistant principal at Yavna Academy in Paramus, New Jersey, a pre-K-8 school in Bergen County. I'm the assistant principal for Judaic Studies, specifically in the middle school. That's grades 6, 7, and 8. I've been at Yavna now 15 years. Before Yavna, and also during my time at Yavna, I got my smicha and my doctorate in education from YU, from REITs, and from Azrieli. And there's a great number of things I'm passionate about in education, and one of those right now is project-based learning and how it can contribute to the overall educational experience of our students in the Judaic Studies classroom in particular. And the stress on Judaic, project-based learning has been receiving more and more attention in recent years. In the world of general education, there are many, many wonderful resources out there for teachers in general studies courses, for science, for history, for English, and it's starting to catch on in Judaic studies. A lot of the issues are exactly the same, and a lot of the readings that we'll do and discussions we'll have will be from things that are written about project-based learning in general. But we'll see also there are some particular issues that come about in doing this in the Judaic Studies classroom, and our goal is going to be to at least identify and start putting forth a way that we can get over some of those complications and those seeming challenges, and to make project-based learning something that is effective in our Judaic Studies classrooms, in our Chumash, our Navi, our Gemara, and so on classrooms as well. So let's talk first for a few minutes now about what project-based learning is. Some of you are here because you know about it already. Some of you have heard about it and you want to know more. So project-based learning, and you'll read about the particular elements and what a PBL, we'll use that term a lot, what a PBL classroom really looks like. But ultimately, what is the goal of project-based learning? So project-based learning aims to raise the level of student motivation in their learning by giving them more independence, more choice in their learning. Standard classroom, the teacher at the front, teacher comes in every day knowing what he or she wants to teach, and the students are supposed to take it all in. And at the end, the teacher gives some form of an assessment. Maybe it's a test, maybe it's do a project. And we'll see that's not project-based learning. And in those cases, the student is basically filling out boxes. And sometimes, yes, the students are asked to think a little bit and to synthesize and to analyze what they learned, but it's still within a very narrow purview in terms of how they're asked to give it back. In project-based learning, students do much more of the learning, the research on their own, and therefore it's their inquiry. It's not just the teacher's sharing of information, but it's the students search for information and search for material and for real learning. And then it's the student's decision as to what that's ultimately going to look like. And one of the goals is that that produces a higher level of motivation and hopefully as well a deeper level of learning as the students can push forward on their own. They can look for materials that might not have come up in the class. They can differentiate for themselves. Students who want to enrich themselves, who want to go further, they have that freedom. Students who need a little bit of a slower pace can do that, and students who want to kind of make a lateral move, students who want to do something maybe a little different than the grand plan, still within the framework of what the unit is, they're able to do that as well. If you think about it, this really prepares students to be adult learners, right? As adults, once we leave school, so nobody comes into our lives, nobody walks into our living rooms at night and says, okay, let me tell you something for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, and we sit there and learn. Nobody decides for us what to learn once we leave school. That's our own decision. Everybody has the things that appeal to them in learning, in reading, in knowing. Everybody has the svarim they learn, the books they read, the magazines they subscribe to, the websites that they surf, the areas that appeal to them. And each person, to the level of their own motivation to know more, goes out and does that. PBL teaches students to be adult learners in that sense. Teaches students, yes, we're going to tell them what the unit is about. We don't just walk in and say, go ahead and learn whatever you want for 170, 180 school days. But within our framework, we allow the students a certain degree of choice in terms of what they're learning. We allow them and we encourage them to push forwards and to make the learning their own. And one of the last most important things with project-based learning is and this is what will be one of our main goals this first week, is we encourage ourselves to focus on what the real goals of our learning, our teaching, what those real goals really are. Do we walk into class and say, what I'm doing this week is Perek Bet. What do I want to get out of Perek Bet? I want to get to the end of it. Well, that's not really a goal. How do students get motivated to just get to the end? And if you say, well, at least they complete something, so in a class like Gemara, that's harder because they're not completing something. They'll do a few daf this year, perhaps, right? But what are they going to complete, right? But if they can see that this unit of learning has a defined beginning and end, but more importantly, has a defined goal, a defined academic intellectual goal. Here are the questions that I really want to answer. Here are the understandings that I want to have from this course. So that also helps frame things in a much more accessible way, in a way students can get comfortable within a topic, in a way students can push themselves to try to answer those questions. And those are some of the key issues within project-based learning and goals for it. It's not just that the classroom looks different. It's not just here's a way that we can better utilize or leverage technology. You don't have to have any technology, although it does make things easier. But it's about student motivation to learn, potential depth of student learning, built-in differentiation for student learning, every student at their own pace, and for us as teachers, bring us to a better understanding of what it is we're teaching so we can better convey that to students so they can accomplish all of those goals. You will see on the various icons on this page, on the research icon, you will have many items to read, generally fairly short, one or two longer ones thrown in. That reading will teach you about project-based learning. In the apply icon, there you'll have your assignments for this first week of the course. And on the discuss icon, I've put up a couple suggestions of things where I would like some discussion to begin, both everybody putting forth their own reflections and everybody looking at what other people have posted as their assignments in the apply and getting that out and commenting on each other's work. Now, if at any point, and I've written this and I'll say it here, but it's written in parts of the module as well, if you need to reach out to me, you can always get me via email. My email address is aaronshalom, A-A-R-O-N, shalom @gmail.com. I will always try to answer within 24 hours, if not sooner. And if we need to have a longer discussion, if you want to have a longer and deeper discussion about a particular point, we'll find a time to sit down together, either by phone, by Skype, by Google Hangout, whatever works best, so that we can push forward the learning over these 2.5 weeks, and you can have a sense, at least a beginning sense, of what project-based learning is about, how it can help the classroom, and how you are able to do it and apply it in your Judaic Studies classroom. I am looking forward to a wonderful 2.5 weeks of learning together, and let's get started. Go and click on the research icon, please.